This is Level Up Success Podcast with Neff and Truth.
So do you do mostly just leasing or you also just...
We do leasing, financing, new, pre-owned. Pre-owned is a little bit different, but we do new, mainly new, pre-owned. If you need help with insurance quotes, I'll help you out with insurance quotes. Especially living in New York City, you guys know that insurance can get crazy. So I'll help you out with insurance quotes. I do trade-ins, so I do take in your trade-ins. I do take in your lease returns as well.
Okay.
I have an office in my home is my office, and then I have an actual office out in Long Island as well.
Okay.
All right, cool. So my next question would be like, as far as experience wise, like what is the most challenging thing that you go through when you're going through a sale with people, like in general? Like what is the most challenging thing that you go through to make the sale happen?
Credit. Right? Credit. Our community, 1,000%, and I'm saying our community, and we all understand what I'm saying by that, right?
Yeah.
There are a lot of things that our community needs, and learning how to build your credit is definitely one of them, right? Learning how to build your credit is definitely one of them. Having provable income, that's a huge one, right? So even if you, and I'm going to dive into that for a little bit, even if you don't make money on the books, deposit that. Deposit the money into your bank account, because what's going to happen is when a creditor wants to lend you money, right? When a bank goes to lend you money, they want to see that you're making deposits, at least that there is some type of money flow coming into your account. Because if you're making money off the books and you're not putting it in a bank account, and now you're asking the bank for a $30,000 loan, but then you're showing them $2 in your bank account, who's going to lend you money?
Yeah.
Right? So you need to show either A, that you have consistent deposits, like direct deposits, or B, you are depositing money on a regular basis, right, into the bank account. With credit, right?
I mean, I know people that don't believe in credit card, and I think that's a bad idea too.
That's a horrible idea.
Yeah, in 2023, come on, guys.
Come on.
There's people. I talk with somebody that I don't want to have no credit card because I want to owe no money. But how people gonna know? Let's say you need some type of loan. If people, like I was telling you with real estate, if they all see that you could borrow money and pay on time, that's why it is credit card, that you borrow money.
Credit lines and trade lines are the thing that you need the most. You need that in your life. You need it. In America, you know how you have this whole saying, cash is king? Nah. Credit is king at this point. You need credit to survive. Let's just call a spade a spade. And the bigger your credit limits are, the better it is for you. It does not mean that you use it all. The better it is for you. But even, they're little things, right? They're little things that happen that our community can really use help with. When I run somebody's credit and I see that they have a $300 Victoria's Secret card on their credit that's completely used up. So they used every last dollar of that $300 credit card. And it's bringing their credit all the way down because their credit usage is through the roof. And I'm going to, and shortly, I have a friend that's actually going to talk about this in a few, but you have, they're using up all their credit. And then you go on their Instagram and they're out partying. Mm-hmm. They're out at the club, popping bottles. Meanwhile, this $300 bill is about to go 160 days past due, but you just spent $1,000 at the club. Well, why didn't you pay off that $300 credit card instead? Mm-hmm. Because you did not pay off that $300 credit card, your interest rate has now gone 5 points higher. On a loan. I
always wonder, like, where does that come from? Because I see it all the time. Like, I'll be going, like I rarely go out, and if I do go out, I do salsa dancing, but that's a whole different story. But like when I do go out, like to lounges or clubs, like with events, because that's the only time I actually do like real clubs. Yep. Spending like $300 on a bottle, like it's I be seeing these people, and I'm like, I'll be wondering, like, bro, like, do you got all your shit together? Like, because there's some people that I know.
Understand what $300 can get you at this point?
Mm-hmm.
And you're spending it. No, I'm
No,
serious.
I see it too. I used to see it all the time. Oh, $250 is nothing. I like.
And not for
I've been
nothing.
around with
But
people
how
like
about
that.
this? But how about this? Look, pre-pandemic, right? Pre-pandemic, zero down if you had excellent credit was always a thing, right? Pre-pandemic, zero down, you put your taxes in first month in DMV up front, call it a day. Nowadays, the reality is that with everything that's happening, to get a lower payment, you need to put some money down, right? Or to get somewhere where it's reasonable, you need to put some money down. But you cannot tell me that you don't have any money to put down and you're blowing it. You're blowing it on hookah, on bottles, on a bunch of things. But more importantly, forget about that. More importantly, let's fix your credit. I promise you that if more people, if a group of our community for like 5 months just sat for 5 months and said, in the next 5 months, I'm not gonna go out.
I mean, that's what happened in the pandemic, though. During the pandemic, a lot of people went great. So it shows.
Yeah. It shows.
If you stay stuck and you're not spending money, then amazing things will happen.
Amazing.
Just give yourself some time.
Exactly. Give yourself some time. Give it time. Go 5 months. Don't go out. All right, go out to one dinner. Está bien. Pero no de que don't start spending $500, $600, $700 every weekend.
No. I mean, some people will do that, won't go out for a month too. And all the money they think is spent, they all spend it on that night. Like,
Yeah, that's true too.
I'll say
That's true too. No. But we're not gonna do that.
Let's go big. Like,
Take those $500 that you were gonna spend and put it to the credit card that has the highest interest rate that you have right now.
Yeah.
That credit card, use that. To put it there. Use the $500 that you were gonna spend in that club. Go pay off that credit card, because I promise you that your score is gonna go up. And if your score goes up, then your approval ratings go up. Your chances to get approved goes up. Your credit limit will start going up. You'll pay less interest on that money.
I mean, I hope people don't know.
The world opens up.
I hope people don't know that how you do credit, the lowest the interest.
Yeah,
And people don't know that. That's
exactly.
the problem. The thing is, our community, they don't really know too much about how credit work. And I think we need to talk more about it, because it's a problem.
Let me tell you, credit cards, they are the most gangster loan sharks that you'll ever meet. Credit card companies are the most gangster credit card. Like, they don't make money. See, credit card companies don't make money off of people like you and me, right? That we have the knowledge. We understand how the credit cards work. We understand that, I'm going to use it real quick and then just pay it off right away, right?
Yeah.
They make money off of those people that let that $300 Victoria's Secret card just sit there
Yeah.
for ages and ages spent.
Yeah, to me, it's just it's amazing how
At 26, 27%, 28% interest. Crazy.
Yeah, but that's a whole other segment, man. Because I could really dive in. I could
Yeah.
really dive in
Yeah.
into like
We can go in there forever.
No.
Listen.
We're definitely going to talk about that in the future.
But no, that's so. To go back to your original question of like, what are the challenges that I see? That's the challenge, really. The challenge really is, this post-pandemic world that we live in. During the pandemic, everybody was doing great, right? But what did you do with that time? What did you do with that money that you saved? And now we're here, right? And you have inflation and the whole shebang, and we just need to rebuild. We need to rebuild as a community. That's where we're at.
So my next question would be right now. Do you work with all credit? Like, do you work with all credit?
Yeah, I do. I work with all credit, good, bad, and different. Good, bad, and different. I will definitely try my best to get you approved. All you really need. So most banks, after the pandemic happened, pre-pandemic banks used to take ITINs. Do you guys know what ITINs are? Tax IDs. So people who don't have a social, who aren't fully legal yet in the country or in the process of becoming legal, a lot of banks used to take those. They don't take them anymore. You have like one or two that do. So for now, in order to get an approval, all you really need a social provable income of some sort, and and that's basically it. That's basically it. ID.
Of course.
ID.
Yeah.
But yeah, good. I deal with all credit, and I'm truly blessed that one of the people that I work with, he's like the main broker. He's like a finance guru, so he can help you build credit. And there's different programs too that I can put you through. So you'll hear me if you get a car from me. You'll hear me say, you'll hear me tell you, hey, I'm going to put you through the first time buyers program, right? You have first time buyers program. You have the military program. You have college, right? You have the college grad program. So a lot of banks with these new manufacturers, they're very well aware that if you just graduated from college, you probably don't have the best credit in the world, but every make and model, every bank does it a little different, but they'll give you an opportunity. So they'll give you some type of rebate, and then they'll tell you, okay, because you're a college grad, that you're able to prove that you just graduated from college, we're going to put you at, we'll start you at tier 2 or tier 3 or tier 4 rate instead of not getting you approved at all. You know what I mean? The bank goes, let's give you an opportunity.
Let me ask you this. Like, I use Credit Karma. Like, that's my source of to check. To check. I don't know why you're laughing, but I guess you're going to tell me something. But is that a good method for me to use? Like,
all right. So, Credit
because a lot of people use that as well.
So so nowadays, right, there's a lot of, you're going to see, like when you have your bank accounts that they give you, some of them use CreditWise, the other one use Credit Karma is one of them. I like to tell people to stay away from Credit Karma a little bit, mainly because Credit Karma they use a scoring system that's not used by most real legitimate banks, right? So their scoring system is called Vantage. Vantage can't see everything on your credit. They honestly can't see most of what's on your credit, right? So then this is what happens. A customer will come to me and they'll say, oh, my credit, according to Credit Karma, is 640, right? And I in turn around and go, okay, so that means that your real credit score is probably around 590. And they'll tell me, what? Well, the reason is because real banks use FICO, right? And you have FICO 7.0, 8.0, 9.0, 10.0, and I think they're coming up with an 11.0 soon, if I'm not mistaken. But that particular scoring system that's used by these companies, right? FICO, that's going to show you everything. Everything you've done in your life, it's going to be on there, right? Everything you've done, it's going to show. Every payment that you've missed or have made is going to be on there. Every company you've lended with, right? Your real inquiries are going to be in there. And so normally, Credit Karma is about 40 to 50 points off. Now, if it's reflecting that you're in the 700s, the difference tends to be not that much. The difference tends to be like maybe a 20 or 30 point swing. But I shy away from that particular app. And one of the other reasons why I shy away from that app is it brings people into traps, right? It brings people into traps where they start telling you that you qualify for all these different credit cards. So what happens? You start applying for these credit cards. Most people have no idea how to use a credit card. So they end up maxing out their credit cards and then they forget to pay it. And then we're right back. See how the circle starts?
Yeah.
See the circle of the credit cards?
Like, yeah.
And then you're right back. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. You're much better off using a tracking system like Experian. Using a tracking system like IQ. I forgot the name of it.
How many
But it's a good one.
how many those companies? You said not to Credit Karma, but there's like a couple because I never knew there was a couple reference for credits.
Yeah. So CreditWise is a good one. Experian the app itself.
I heard that one.
Experian the app itself is an excellent one, and I keep Identity IQ. Identity
okay.
IQ is the name of the company.
So what I would like to do is if you could give us a list. I know we gotta have somebody coming in later today, but like to have a list of all these websites that we could use to check our credit, so that we could put it like in the we could put it.
Put it on the bottom, or maybe
and don't forget, and guys, don't forget also that the credit bureaus, one time a year, you're allowed to run your credit for free. Once a year, the credit bureaus give you one free report.
So that's something to know about it because people don't know.
There's one thing I wanted to ask. I don't know if this is actually a myth. I guess you're like the right person to ask.
Talk to me.
Or,
I got you.
I'll ask Alex. But if you check your credit like consistently, is it true that it kind of like damages it a little bit?
Yeah,
or is that like a myth?
Depends on what you're asking. Are you talking about like checking your credit through the app or like putting hard inquiries on your credit? There's a difference.
Okay, so I guess we could discuss you want to discuss that now or could discuss that later?
Let's discuss that later when Alex is on here. He's more of the pro. But those are two separate questions.
Yeah.
That's different.
I was thinking,
put that on my
I had that question in mind.
Let me say
I had
that
question in mind, but since we gonna...
That's two different things.
Let me say that question because that is a good question.
No, because people gonna know.
But I will say this. I will put this on there from a car perspective. If a lender sees that you've been just applying to like different cars and different credit cards as hard inquiries, they're going to shut you down for the most part because they're going to know. They're like, oh, this person, nah. You know? Yeah. But there are ways to work around it, and we can definitely, there are ways to work around it, how to fix your credit and do all that jazz.
No, because it look bad if you keep getting rejected. Like, watch you
Well, there's ways to fix your credit, and there are ways. People, this is another thing. There are ways to fix your credit, so that way you can come see me and get a car. Yovy the car girl.
That works out. So, Yovy, let me ask you this. Like, you seem like you're driven. You seem like, and you see you have like a vision. So I could see that in you. Do you ever check, or let me just ask you like this, right? Because I do ask this to a couple of people that come into the podcast. So, since you have to, like, I believe that in order for you to be successful with something, you have to have a sort of like you have to have basically a plan
vision
and structure. There has to be structure within the plan. So my question to you would be like, have you thought about where you see yourself a year from now?
1,000%. First of all, I'm a huge believer in what you said. MAP. Do you know what MAP stands for?
I'm sure you're going to share that right now.
Oh, 100%. MAP stands for Massive Action Plan. Massive Action Plan, right? You need to draw a map of where you want to go, right? So I have a date with myself every single year, and most people should do too. I have a date with myself every year on the 1st of every year where I draw out, and I could show it to you. I draw out, I do a big vision board. I've been doing it for years. I draw out exactly what I want, how I want it, and I put it on there, right? And it's not a wish. And that's the other thing that people need to understand, right? So these things aren't wishes. No, I'm going to put it on here, and then I'm going to create a map of how I'm going to get there and what I'm going to do to get there, right? And more people need to do that with themselves. And it could be something small. Right? Or it could be something really big. This year, I'm not going to lie, I put a lot of big things on there.
Yeah.
Big things happen. But I will say this, for those of you who are Christian, in the Bible it says, God helps those that help themselves, right? So isn't that what that is? A massive action plan? Yes. Put it in there, put it in the air, start working on it. And God will lead the way the rest.
Amen.
Amen
to that. But yeah, so I mean, that's great that you're manifesting, because that's basically what that is.
Yep.
You're putting it out there, and you're living through that paradigm right now. And that's how you make it, but it has to start with a vision.
Listen. Yeah. Failing to prepare is preparing to fail. Listen
that's
to
a new
that.
quote for today. So
Failing to prepare is preparing to fail. And that is the truth, right? Because if you don't prepare yourself, I have 16 years of preparation at this point, right? And the reality, call it 15 because I've been doing this for about a year and then just really made it official after the fact, right? But you need to prepare yourself. What is it that, whatever you want to do in life, what is it going to take to get there? Link up with these. If you see an influencer online that's doing what you want to do, what does it hurt to shoot them a DM? Right? What does it hurt to shoot them a DM? What does it hurt to ask for a meeting, to sit down with them, right? Do it.
Yeah. So, I mean, I feel inspired to say something to the audience based on what you just said.
Go ahead. Knock
right
yourself
now.
out.
So, there's a lot of times that well, let me give my story. So, like I've been working with the cell phone business for about, let's say, what is it now? Like 14 years now? I think a bit more than that, 16 years, I believe.
they just said more than 10 years.
Yeah, so more than a decade.
Right.
Yeah.
And there was times where I knew how to sell. But then how do I implement that to my lifestyle? Like, how can I make what I'm doing here and multiply my income? So
Yes.
the first thing I thought about was, after I had a horrible, like, something happened to me financially at some point in time. But then it got me to reflect. I'm like, man, I have a whole decade of experience. I know how to do sales. Like, I know, I know the business in and out. Like, I understand it. So, like, myself, I just started, like, mechanizing. I'm like, I also have about 300 people walking into my store every day. So I just need to find out something, right, based on what I know and implement it, right? Because at one point in time, I didn't realize that I had talent. And that's the key. I didn't realize that was my talent, right? Because, a lot of times what I would think about when I was younger is like, man, I wish I could sing. Because I know a lot of people that sing. I know a lot of people that play the instrument. I'm like, man, like, these people are so talented and they don't do nothing with that talent. Like, I see that a lot with people. And then I always think like, where's my talent? And then I kind of discovered my talent.
Yeah.
Like 3 years ago. And now I'm implementing that talent. Even this podcast, like doing this podcast, getting the people to come and sit down with us. Do you know that I consider myself antisocial? If I were to tell you that, will you believe that?
Would you believe it if I said the same?
I wouldn't.
There you
Exactly.
go.
Yeah,
We got 3 antisocial people. Right?
So
No, it's funny because in the car business, in the sales world, let's just call it the sales world.
Yeah.
If you speak to the top salesman go to every single dealership if you want, and you speak to the top salesman, they'll all tell you the same thing. I hate people, but I love them at the same time. And they don't, they're kind of reclusive. Like, we don't really,
Okay, so it's probably a thing.
It's a thing. I don't know what it is, but it's a thing. It's definitely a thing.
Because if you would have met me, like, I'm talking about before I started working, like, matter of fact, how I even got my interview, like how I got my job for my interview. My manager, I spoke to him afterwards. I'm like, yo, like, why do you give me a job? And it's crazy, right? Because he told me, look, when you came into this interview, like, you didn't say nothing. Like, I will talk to you and you would just respond yes or no questions. You will have no conversation. I was about to not hire you. You know why I hired you? I was like, why? Because at the end of the at the end of the interview, you had this product. I had this product that I was selling, and I'm like, look, bro, you look like, like, you bulking, man. Like, I have this product that I could give you if you want, and I could sell it to you. I could sell it to you for this much. We could make a deal on it. And that ending of the conversation
Always
was
be
like
closing.
Yes, he was like, yo, but at least this dude is closing. Like,
ABC.
you know what I'm saying? So, yo, I gotta hire.
Always be closing.
So it's amazing, like, how things happen by accident. And then, I never realized that was the talent that I had.
Let me tell you, just like you said that you went through a very hard time. August 2011 was probably one of the hardest times for me in my life. My daughter's father passed away, right? And no worries. Thank you. August 2011, my daughter's father passed away. And you might be wondering, like, why am I bringing that up now, right? Fast forward, I get to Paragon Honda, I'm doing my thing, and I'm selling. I mean, like selling, outselling a lot of the guys there too. And I remember going up to the general sales manager. I had greeted a customer at the door. And it turned out to be a referral for my general sales manager at the time, Jason Graciano, who I love. Another great trainer, a lot of gems from him. And I remember him passing it on to another person that I knew wasn't nowhere near as talented as I was. And at that point, I put my foot down and I said, Jay, you keep giving away all your referrals to everybody but me. What's the problem? And he's like, you're too negative. And when I'm telling you that sat and resonated with me forever and made me take a look at me, yeah, I was selling cars, right? Yeah, I was selling cars. Yeah, I had the talent. But the reality is, I was negative back then. I was like, there was a lot of things where it was like, I was just down. I was just down, right? It was a fake smile. Like now I smile because I smile and I'm happy and I'm good, right? But it took me years from 2011 to that time for me to figure out and it wasn't until he said, it's too negative, that I was like, and it something switched. And ironically, the reason I brought that up is because at that point, I had taken one of his social media classes and I said, this is what's going to make me different. I'm going to take this and I'm going to run. And I ran with it. And I remember starting Yovy the Honda girl. Do you know, that was 2014, 2015, something like that. Do you know to this day, it's 2023. I've worked for other companies. People still call me Yovy the Honda girl. I'm like, oh. So when I started this company, I changed it up a little bit. I said, I'm going to keep the Yovy, switch it to car girl because I'm not just Honda now.
Well, that worked.
But it worked.
Yeah,
it stuck.
Worked. It's
stuck.
It's my brand now.
It stuck. And I started taking pictures with every single one of my customers. I started posting with every single one of my customers. And back then, social media still wasn't that big.
Yeah.
And I was blessed, and the word got out that way.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, that's to your point. They're little things. Just like the same way the person told you, that's why I hired you. To this he opened up his own dealership later on, and I actually almost went to go work with him, but then I had to move to Florida, and I said, nah, I'm going to stay in New York.
Awesome.
Stay in New
Well,
York.
that hurricane, right?
Yeah. I'm good. I'm good.
So while we've been having this conversation, right, what I've noticed is, there's another question that I asked, but you've been answering this question multiple times while we're conversing. While we're conversing. Sorry, guys.
No, it's cool.
And which is, in order for you to be successful, you need to have some sort of mentorship.
Yeah.
To guide you into what you're setting yourself into, right? So
I can rattle off some names right now, boy.
So if you have to count how many mentors you believe guided you to the point that you are now, how many are there?
I have a few. I'm gonna name some, right? First and foremost, we have Jay Sellers, who was my first trainer. He was phenomenal. Walk-arounds. So we got Jay Sellers. We have Alan Ram, Ring. Anybody who's in the car business will know that. Rest in peace, Alan Ram, Ring. We have, and these are people that I've actually physically worked with, meant live, right?
Yeah.
Alan Ram, Jason Graciano, Brian Benstock. I've worked with Tim Kintz. Amazing dude, Tim Kintz. I've had the opportunity to, I'm trying to think right off the top of my head. I have another big mentor of mine who I met later on in my career, right? Who he doesn't have the recognition that those 5 people have, but for me, he touched me in a different way. And that's Devon Sr. So I'm going to say that those 6-7 guys, right? Those 6-7 guys. And then, I have other little people. I have other people here and there that touched me. The guy that I told you, I stood by him and I learned a lot, Stanley. Now he has one of the biggest body shops in the Bronx, right? Liberato Auto Shop if you need it. You have, so that was that. Who else? Sandra Bedoya, right? So Sandra, ironically, she is one of the biggest car names in the industry in Long Island, right? This woman, phenomenal, and she did it. She was an immigrant from Colombia, and she worked her way up. So I have so many. Yeah,
I mean, it's
but that's
good.
great. I mean, so ultimately, what I want to gain and what you could give to the audience is the importance of having mentorship.
it's so important. It's so important to be able to have a community where you can just, pick up the phone and be like, hey, like, okay, let me explain something to you. Even the top names, when they have gotten here, there is always someone that's right here, right? And then that person, and then you, right? But you got to learn. And just because the person, and you can learn from somebody that isn't even on your level. There are a lot of people, just to make this clear, there are a lot of people that don't climb up, not because they can't. They're good. They're good here, but they have so many gems to work with. And you could just learn from them, know? Learn a little bit of everything from everybody.
I feel like
and learn everybody's name. That's a big one for me. I forgot to tell you that.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Yo, you know what's funny about
Tell
that?
me.
You know what's funny? Like, to me, like, it wasn't until I went through that turmoil that I started learning everybody's name.
Stop.
For me.
Fun fact.
Yeah.
As a salesperson, if you want to know how I did it at Paragon, I'll tell you how I did it. While everybody was focused on the BDC department, trying to buy the girls that, pick up all the phone calls and make the appointments, every last one of them was focused on that. I quickly realized, A, I'm a girl. I can't flirt with another. And it's whatever you guys want to do, you want to do. But that, it doesn't work for me.
Yeah.
Right? Well, who gets my car ready? Oh, PDI. Yo, I went down to the warehouse 4 blocks down. I learned the technicians that would get the car ready, right? For the new cars, that learned all their names. I learned the guys that washed the cars, that detailed the cars for us, learned all their names, learned how many kids they had. And then for Christmas, while everybody was buying BDC stuff, Yovy bought them lunch. Made them a whole shebang. And I did that every year for them as long as I was there. And guess what? While you're still waiting and your car is 20th online, my car was coming out with plates. And want to know what else? While you were only able to put out 1 car because you're 20th in line, I was able to do 2 and 3 and 4 in one day. Right? So learn everybody's name, not just for gains and not for any of that, but whether they're a janitor, a mechanic, learn their name.
Yeah.
They're a person, they're people. Learn who they are.
Yeah.
Get to know them.
No, it is very important and keen advice. Like, any strategies you use to remember everybody's name? Like, or it just comes to you?
I use their name often, right? So people have this tendency to be like, hey, love, hey, hun, hey, pa. Me, I'll purposely, especially when I first get to know you, I'll purposely say, Nate, truth, just because it'll kind of just stick, right? So when I see you next time, it'll be Nate. Truth. Now, if I hang out with you every day, hey, hun, babe,
it's gonna,
it's different.
It's different.
It's different.
Yeah, like me, I have to like write it down. I have to, like, it's like, like, let's say I'm having a conversation with somebody, I would be like, okay, let me just save this person's number and let me write down the name, and then that's when I start remembering. And sometimes when I have conversations with people, let's say it's on the phone, I'll look at the phone to remember.
I do that too.
Because it's like,
I do that.
I meet so many people now, and it's like sometimes it sucks when it happens, and when it happens, I'll be crushed. People have no clue. Like, it happened not too long ago. I literally was having a conversation, a conference. Let's just put it out. I had a conference with you guys.
Okay.
And like, I'm like, yo, what's Alex's name? Like, well, I wasn't saying Alex,
Yeah, you weren't saying his name at the time.
I'm like, yo, like, damn, and y'all have no idea how it made me feel because. To me, that's very important now.
Yeah, it's huge. Yeah. But you know what I do too? So all my customers, I save them, in my phone, in my contacts, but I'll save them as, so if Truth bought a car from me, and let's say it's let's say it's an X3, I'll write Truth X3. Or I'll write Nate CRV. Just because when you call, right? Hey, how are you, Nate? Yeah, good, whatever. Oh, is it time to trade in that CRV? And they'll be like, oh my God, you remembered I have a CRV? Yeah. No. But it also triggers you. You know what I mean? Like,
no, if you write CRV, you remember also. And now remember it's easier. I think it's better.
It's better. You remember the customer. Yeah. You not only, but here's the thing. Not only do you remember the customer, but you remember, it's almost like it brings you back to remember the transaction. So you go, okay, this is what I'm going to need from that person. I'll
be going through in the sales, like sometimes, because I go through so many people. I see, like I said, I see daily, I will see almost 300 people daily. Yeah. And like sometimes when I'm talking to them, they like, oh, you remember me? I'm like, yeah, of course I remember you. Like, let me know what situation we're going through. And then from talking to them, it just starts coming back.
It comes back.
I'm like, all right. I'm remembering. Okay. So now, so this is how we're going to solve this issue. And they'll be like, man, wow, what a great customer experience you gave me, because, you do remember my name. You remember the situation.
And that's big.
I'll be like, yeah.
That's big. People that, it's like, oh my God, they remember that you remember.
Yeah.
They remember and they appreciate that too.
Mm-hmm, yeah, definitely, so it's definitely. Big. All right, so I mean, hey, how have you been feeling so far? Like, do you feel better than when you started the podcast?
Absolutely. I'm calm.
I promise.
Now I feel like
right?
We're just
No, that's how it is at first.
Yeah. So before we end the segment, like one of the things that I do ask most of our guests that come in is like to define success. So like, how would you, Yovy, define success?
Oof, I wish I could study that question. Success looks different for everybody, right? Because what success is for me might not be for somebody else, right? Success for me would just being able to reach that happiness, that level of happiness where I'm happy with me, content with me. I was in a very dark place not too long ago, and being able to just be free, have the financial freedom, right? Because money isn't everything, right? Because money will temporarily make you happy, but to have the financial freedom and to just be happy, genuinely happy from the core, that's success.
Yeah.
No, great answer. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the way I've been defining success to me, like, and this is how I define it is, what story are you gonna tell in the future?
Yeah.
To your legacy.
And not for nothing, not to cut you off though, that's actually great. So I have a daughter. My daughter is 17 years old, and look, I could have very easily fallen into her father passed away when she was 5 years old. Right? I could have very easily just thrown up my hands and said, all right, whatever. I didn't. What are we going to do? Right? I busted my behind and worked 9 to 9, 9 to 10, 9 to 11. I had my hits, I had my heart, I had my hardships, right? And full transparency, I myself had a bankruptcy many, many years ago, many light moons and years ago. But again, you can have that fall and then just stay there, or you can figure out how to pick it up. And look, ages later, what am I talking about? Financial literacy? Teaching financial literacy to other people? You know what I mean? Where you were doesn't necessarily mean that that's where you're going to stay. And watching my daughter see how I've just grown and started building, and she's been in the house while I'm, I created my business cards. She was watching me. Creating a website, she's watching me. Flyers, she's watching me.
Yeah.
The kids watch. Your children watch what you do. They're seeing what you're doing, And so, you want to know what success is too? Having the ability to quit your job and say, right, saying peace.
How to venture
out, saying peace, and having this that you can move forward without having to worry about where is my next check coming from, right? Because you know that you know how to do what you know how to do and move forward. I don't know if that makes sense.
Makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
All right. So,
Okay, before we end it, do you want
Cuenta.
promote something or talk about your business?
Yeah,
or I
sure.
can show it to the camera?
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
So these are my business cards, right? I don't know which camera I'm showing it
Show it
to.
to all three of them.
Because
All
you got
three
three
of them?
I mean, you know, I mean,
We're
grab
gonna
this
we're
one.
gonna
These are my business cards.
We're gonna try to work on putting it in the
I can
in the
let you
thing?
on the video. Yes,
Yeah.
I just send me the,
And then,
the PDF file.
yeah, and then these are my flyers, Yovy the Car Girl. Any make, any model. The QR code is going to send you straight to, if you're interested in just getting more information, like let's say you already have a car or you're interested in possibly getting a car, it's going to send you over to my form. It's a form. You just fill it out. Customer name. It's not running your credit. It's just customer name, number. Ask you a few questions about you and where what it is you're looking to do, what the time frame is, and then I'll contact you. And then on there as well, you can schedule a time for me to speak to you, and it comes directly to my phone.
Oh, that's dope. So you made it real easier for the customer.
Yeah, very easy. 1, 2, 3.
Awesome.
All right. So if you, like I always say, if you love what we're doing, please give us a like. Please follow us because we're on Spotify, YouTube, Instagram,
Yeah.
Apple Podcasts. I almost said TV, but any platform that play podcasts, we're gonna be there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
guys. So, I mean, all you guys got to do is just go to Instagram. Once you go to Instagram, it'll give you the link. And from there, you can see all our platforms. So, we did make it easy for you guys as well, all right? So, guys, we are going to be back. We do have another segment coming in. But for now, I just want to give you guys the deuces.
Peace. Don't forget to go up to success.
All right?